think what we saw was a brighter future for this country.
A message of unity and a scathing attack on President Trump. The virtual Democratic National Convention brought out the heavy hitters. But will it be enough to score the knockout punch? The state's chair of the Democratic Party, Rusty Hicks, will join me exclusively.
There's going to be 11 states that are deciding the presidency, not named California. So in California, we've been laser focused on the things that we can affect change in.
Zeroing in on congressional races, the California GOP believes they can generate a red wave inside the blue state come November, and how they are combating the controversy over vote by mail. The first chairwoman of the California Republican Party, Jessica Malone Patterson, will join me exclusively as well. And our panel for the week is ready to weigh in, from the DNC to the RNC and the heated debate over vote by mail. It's all on KC24 Sunday Morning Matters.
Now, from your local election headquarters, KC24, this is Sunday Morning Matters with your host, Alexan Balakian.
And good Sunday morning to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alexan Balakian. Join the conversation at Real Alexan. Use the hashtag Sunday Morning Matters. Along the way, Fresno County Clerk Brandy Orth on how the election process will play out in this political climate clouded by COVID-19. But first, a presidential nomination unlike any other.
This is our moment. This is our mission. May history be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight. Character is on the ballot. Compassion is on the ballot. Decency, science, democracy, they're all on the ballot.
After nearly 50 years in public office and 3 presidential campaigns, Joe Biden formally accepting the Democratic nomination for president, framing the election as a battle for the soul of the nation. Biden standing alone for his address while supporters gathered outside to watch from the safety of a makeshift drive-in movie theater. From former First Lady Michelle Obama throwing that first roundhouse punch to Senator Kamala Harris making history to Joe Biden delivering his most forceful speech of his career, the DNC providing plenty of fireworks. And joining me now, the California chair of the Democratic Party, Rusty Hicks. Mr. Hicks, welcome to Sunday Morning Matters. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to be with you.
Good to have you here with us. I know you're coming from your home in Pasadena. So as you saw the 4 days play out virtually, of course, what stood out to you the most from the DNC?
Well, certainly in the most unconventional convention that we've seen, certainly in our lifetime, I thought we saw an important case made for a better, brighter vision for America. From the first argument that was put forward by First Lady Michelle Obama to Kamala Harris to Vice President Joe Biden stepping forward and making an outstanding case, I think what we saw was a brighter future for this country.
You know, Mr. Hicks, usually, as you said, it was the unconventional convention. And usually those conventions, they have hoopla, pageantry, all that good stuff, a lot of it missing, of course. How concerned is the party that the ratings weren't where they should be with the networks now, Kamala Harris's speech, they had really good ratings, but only about 1 to 2 million viewers for the networks. Are you guys concerned with that?
The only thing that really matters is who shows up to cast a ballot in this election. And I can tell you that California Democrats, and in many ways, I think Democrats across the country are fired up and ready to go. But I actually don't think that it's just about the ratings this week or next week. It's really about the work that we will do over the next 74 days, 70 plus days, to ensure that we make a change in this country.
You know, there's already the criticism out there. I don't know if you read much into it, but the Hispanic Democratic community, especially Julian Castro, who was a presidential candidate, as you know, criticizing the party for not having a bigger representation of the Latina community. Should there have been a better representation of that community politically within the 4 days? I know they had AOC, but we didn't see a whole lot of that, especially in California.
Well, certainly here in California, the California Democratic Party, held a number of events in which the Latino Latinx community played an important and critical role, as they always do, as they should, being one of the largest demographic groups in California. I'm confident that they'll be an important part of our success on November 3rd.
The DNC Night 3, I want to take you there because there was a video that played showing a lot of the businesses that were closing down, people suffering, the mom and pops having to shut down, and especially farms struggling to survive, all related to COVID-19. How do you answer the Republican pundits who say these are all blue states in where this is happening, including right here in California, where Governor Newsom still has about 38 counties mostly on lockdown? What's the message to that?
Well, I would simply say that the governor here in California is putting science and the guidance of healthcare professionals at the center of how to address this pandemic. But the reality is that it is not just one pandemic, it really is three. We not only have a global healthcare crisis that we are dealing with, an economic catastrophe that we are dealing with, but we're also dealing with racial inequities that our country, many in our country, are just awakening to. And so it really is a pandemic times three that not only California is dealing with, but the rest of the country is dealing with.
You know, we haven't seen then Senator Kamala Harris since 2017 here in the Central Valley campaigning. Obviously now she is the vice presidential nominee, and I guess we're kind of wondering here in the Central Valley, we have some heated congressional races that will be playing out, as you said, over the next 3+ months now. Will we see, and do we need to see, the vice president nominee Kamala Harris here in the Central Valley?
Well, certainly we're incredibly proud that we have a California Democrat on the national ticket. And certainly having the first woman of color on the national ticket is something that we in California can be, should be, and are proud of. Those hot ticket races, big battleground races that there are not only in the Central Valley, but in many ways in Southern California, I think there's going to be no shortage of communication to the folks that matter, which are the voters who understand and made a decision in 2018 to elect 7 blue wave members of Congress to help take back the House. And I think at the end of the day, the voters, those that ultimately matter, are going to have their voice heard.
Mr. Hicks, I got about a minute left, and I really want to get your take. It's been a hot button issue, especially with the Postmaster General DeJoy on Capitol Hill this week, and he said vote by mail is safe. But Republicans are trying to stop it in most states, including here in California. Is vote by mail safe, secure, and the way to go this election?
Well, certainly it's the way to keep Californians safe. It's the way to keep Americans safe and to ensure that every registered voter has their voice heard in this important election. I wish that on the national level, they would follow the example of what we have done here in California, where we have made it easier to vote, not harder. And certainly I am proud to see that Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Democrats in the House will be heading back and holding hearings and taking votes to ensure that we protect the United States Postal Service.
So you don't think there's any
not the United States
You don't think there's any voter fraud that happens?
I think study after study after study after study has shown that this voter fraud narrative that Republicans in Congress and the White House want to make, the argument they want to make, simply falls flat when you look at the facts.
All right, Mr. Hicks, the California Democratic Chair, we appreciate your time here on Sunday Morning Matters. Thank you.
It was great to be with you.
Well, coming up, our panel is going to join the conversation. Is the Democratic Party truly united in the race for the White House, especially here in the Central Valley?